Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 404. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Thank you for joining me here in this world and on this blogcast. Today's blog is about an article I read in a trade magazine, which is a kind of a funny inspiration, and also about the Strengths Finder and the Strengths Movement. I don't know if you've taken any of these kinds of tests or read about this kind of theory before. You do not need to have to enjoy this blogcast. I hopefully will explain it sufficiently in the piece, but if you feel like you want to get into it before I read it to you, Signature Strengths, I believe it's called, or VIA, VIA, Signature Strengths, will give you a very long test that will reveal to you your signature strengths. And there's probably a test for the strengths movement stuff too, but I can't remember where you'd find that. Anyway, if you want to be a part of the experience, go forth. I will put some links to those things in the show notes if you are curious. Anyway, here it is. This is called Signature Strengths Seem Neat, but Confusing. Because I get my Feldenkrais liability insurance through a massage therapy umbrella, they send me Massage Therapy Journal, which I read, even though I am not a massage therapist. I figure I might learn something. What the heck? In the issue I just finished, they talked a lot about how to avoid burnout and take care of oneself at work. Much of the content involved identifying one's top strengths and leaning into them. Now, about a decade ago, I got really into the strengths movement, which was focused on a similar idea. I thought it was interesting for both work and education. I identified stuff I was good at, and I figured out how to lean into those things. Then I promptly forgot about it, and now I can't even tell you what I determined my strengths were back then. The burnout article suggested using the VIA Strength Finder to determine your top 5 strengths and values. This sounded familiar to me. I thought I had probably taken this test before, so I searched for it on my computer. Yes, I had, about a year ago, and I found that my top 5 strengths were humor, perceptiveness, creativity, social intelligence, and love of learning. I clearly had not found much use for these strengths either, as I instantly forgot about them. Not that they're wrong. In fact, they're pretty spot on, I'd say, but forgettable. I suppose part of it is that I know myself pretty well. I know what jazzes me up and what drains me, and I have typed myself in many formats. XNFP in Myers-Briggs, problematic, possibly racist origins. I'm a 9 in the Enneagram, actually helpful in figuring out how to deal. In the What Muppet Are You quiz, I was Scooter, which actually made a fair amount of sense, even if I feel a little bit more like Gonzo. So I'm open to these sorts of things, and I am curious about how to use them to help improve my life in whatever way they can. This article in Massage Therapy Journal kept reiterating that doing things with your strengths and values in mind would help you avoid burnout. But I cannot figure out how. Let's take my number 1 strength/value, humor. Do I make jokes as often as I can where appropriate? You bet I do. Is there a way to do that more? Not really. No. I'm not showing up to someone's Feldenkrais lesson with me with a balloon hat on. Is there a way to explore humor more? Things I've read suggest taking a class in things like stand-up comedy. I took a class and did a 5-minute set in college. Or learning about comedy, also college, and continuing for decades after. I've learned just about as much about humor as I possibly could. So how is this supposed to help me with burnout or whatever? Maybe quit everything else and get back to clowning? Somehow I don't think that's what Massage Therapy Journal is suggesting. Or my number 2, perceptiveness. I'm perceptive. So what? Is that a useful skill in theater? For sure. How about Feldenkrais practice? I'd say it's pretty key. But then what do? How am I supposed to expand into this knowledge exactly? Learn extrasensory perception? Pretty sure it doesn't exist. I don't know how to perceive more. And frankly, in a nihilistic society, more perceiving isn't always nice. Fine. Number 1 and number 2 aren't really actionable. How about my number 3? It's creativity. Creativity. Maybe I should be more creative then? I'm sorry, but I just don't think that's possible. I'm pretty damn creative most of the time. If I pushed it any further, I'd be like this guy from Creative Possibilities in one of my favorite Kids in the Hall sketches. Office Submarine. I'd keep going, but I think you get the idea. I am already leaning so hard on my strengths, it would be impossible to extract them from my life. I mean, maybe the thing is that I have a life that is already built on my strengths, so there's nothing else to do about it? Maybe these sorts of things are made for people who do things that aren't aligned with their strengths. So it's like sneaky ways to be less unhappy at work? Ways to fool yourself under exploitative capitalism? I don't know. But I find it frustrating. The truth is that I'm not in danger of burning out, mostly because I've arranged my life in a pretty chill fashion that suits me. I'm very lucky to be able to do that, I know. But fundamentally, things like burnout have less to do with one's strengths and more to do with working conditions. When I taught 5 classes a day or gave 5 Feldenkrais lessons, I was certainly in danger of burning out. When I had to commute an hour and a half on the subway to schools where I had to ask a school secretary for a bathroom key and had nowhere to eat my lunch, that was a much more likely candidate for burning me out. Sometimes I think articles like this are just harmless suggestions, making people think if they wore a silly wig to work, they might feel better about it. And sometimes I think these sorts of articles are hedges against real systemic change, against unions and organizing for improved working conditions. I don't know if that's the case for massage therapists. Again, I just read the magazine. But I have seen this sort of thing before in many of the professions I've explored. In my case, I love learning about these things, which is my number 5 strength, love of learning. Woot! Fart noise. Humor, number 1. I'm not mad at Massage Therapy Journal for running an article like this. They've got to generate content like everyone who puts out a magazine, but I suppose I'm curious, number 6 strength, about what these sorts of articles are for. Near the bottom of my strengths list, where I guess my weaknesses reside, we find perseverance. Now, anyone who has been paying attention to my life and the arts would probably agree I don't have any problems with perseverance. Do I enjoy persevering? No. But do I do it? Yes. Might I even be good enough at persevering to call it a strength? I would think so. So, what is all this for? I've had astrological readings that gave me more direction than this scientific test. I mean, I know myself pretty well. But someone who is just discovering themselves might be misled by this test, this idea. They might find less will to persevere, for example, because it's not one of their strengths. I guess I just don't understand how any of this could help with burnout. Burnout is a systemic problem, And this is a very individual self-knowledge tool. Trying to solve systemic problems with individual diagnostics seems like a recipe for frustration. Someone might need a massage after all that, not be ready to give one. I am not sure why this article got under my skin so much. I think it's just because I was trying to figure it out, like in earnest. Like I would like to apply this knowledge. Like I read the article quite carefully. Like, where are they going to tell me what I should do about my signature strengths? I mean, they're right. Humor is very high on my list, but like, what do I do about it? Make funny voices on my podcast, maybe? Like, it's just, there's nothing to do. I don't know. Maybe other people are like, oh, my signature strength is, I don't know what other people's are. It's curiosity. I should do something that's like research, or I don't know. I just feel like it's close. I feel like the idea is close and I should be able to understand it and figure it out, but I have a feeling it might just be bullshit. Anyway, if you take this test, please let me know what your signature strengths are, and then we can all solve it together. We could, maybe all the number one humors get together and form a comedy troupe. I'm just trying to be creative, which is my number 3. Okay, well, so what song am I going to give you? Well, I looked into singing a comedy song, like a humor song, since that's my number 1. And, I know a lot of funny songs, but none of them really called to me for this particular instance. So then I thought, songs about strengths. And then I thought one of my favorite songs is kind of about that. It's about strengths, and it is called Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. And it is by India Ari, who was one of my favorite artists for some time. Still is. I just haven't heard from her in a long time. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention, though. Does she have a new album? I haven't heard anything from her in a long while. Anyway, I was a huge fan of the album that this song is on when it came out. And it's sort of cool to be able to like dip back in to one of my old favorites. So I'm going to play for you Strength, Courage, and Wisdom fairly shortly. Wisdom, by the way, also on my list of strengths, but everything is on everyone's list of strengths. It's just, in the top 10, I believe. I don't remember now. It doesn't matter. And I think, or maybe it was like all of these strengths are in different categories, and like a lot of them were in the wisdom category or something. I don't remember. And obviously, I have not yet found a use for any of this. So I'm going to play that song for you very shortly. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. I'm in the top 50 on Good Pods with this podcast right now. So thank you very much for the month, which is even like better than like making it for like the week, right? Because it's a sustained placing. So thanks, listeners. You're the greatest. If you like this blogcast, awesome. Thank you. Please tell someone about it. Like, review, subscribe in whatever app you're in, or all of them. Just go crazy. Click in stars. You can do individual episodes sometimes as well, which is very helpful. I might not ever see it because, like, I don't know how I get this information, but it would still help me. So thank you. If you'd like to support this podcast, amazing. Patreon.com/Emily R. Davis is the sort of prime support engine. And that, did I just say where it is? Yes, I did. You can also contribute at PayPal or Ko-fi, or you can do a paid subscription on Substack. And if you have another place that you like to support people, please tell me what it is. I will join it. And then we'll have a whole other thing I can say on this podcast. So yes, and thank you all so much for listening. It is the best. So, I did not have tons of time to really give this song everything I feel it deserves. I also wish that I were a drummer, because India Arie's track has a just groovy beat in the drums that I do not have the percussion skills to do. Maybe one day I can play with a band and we will, get that hi-hat going. It'll be awesome. This is today's version of Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Maybe one day there will be a more leisurely evolved recording, but this is what this one is now. In any case, here I give to you India Arie's Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Inside my head there lives a dream that I want to see in the sun. Behind my eyes there lives a me that I've been hiding for much too long. 'Cause I've been too afraid to let it show. 'Cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. Gotta show my face. It's been elusive for too long, but freedom is mine today. Gotta step out on faith. It's time to show my face. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I got strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Behind my pride there lives a me that knows humility. Inside my voice there is a soul, and in my soul there is a voice. But I've been too afraid to make a choice, 'cause I'm scared of the things that I might be missing. Running too fast to stop to listen. It's time to step out on faith. I gotta show my face. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. I gotta step out on faith. It's time to show my face. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I got strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. I close my eyes and I think of all the things that I want to see. 'Cause I know that I've opened up my heart. I know that anything I want can be. So let it 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 be. Strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Now every day I'm praying for strength, courage, and wisdom.